What's up, guys? And I got a video for you. It's League of Legends. It's by Coach Rogue. 5 hidden mistakes even pro players make in League of Legends. 38,000 views. It's 11 days ago. I think, if I remember correctly, Coach Rogue is pretty new. And the reason I'm pointing this out, there was a different video I was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson, and the fact, sorry, there's like a fly or something. The fact we have a call for auditors and to make sure people are thinking right, not thinking stupid. This is an example. This Coach Rogue and the rich see a way to make money by using him as a tool. So he's going to get all of the traffic because it makes everyone feel good about being bronze 5, thinking like a bronze kid, like punching down, beating up kindergartners. Basically, it makes you feel good because you're winning, you're fighting bots, and you're outsmarting bots that are designed to put the circle into the circle, and so you change the circle to a square. It doesn't fit. You're like, yeah, I tricked the bot. I'm the smartest man, and you actually think you're the shit, but in reality, you ain't shit because that's not how the world works. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're dealing with. That's the rich want. Well, that's what they want for you to do. For them, they want people like me, like they want to hire me. The problem is, I might call them out. I might say, "Hey, he's tricking you guys. Don't do this. He's fucking." And I would say, huh, just anyways. I, I'm too honest. I'm honest to a fault. That's in my account somewhere. Anyways, I don't lie. So, anyways,
Isn't this just one of the most satisfying things you can do in a game of League? With the press of a button, the entire mini wave just disappears in an instant, and it
that's
feels so good to do.
when you're bronze and you're a noob and you haven't played the game very much and you suck, and you know what I'm saying? Like a pro can do that and they don't care because that's normal. That's an everyday thing. So him feeling anything for it just shows that he sucks as a coach. Okay?
But unfortunately, doing this is one of the first of many mistakes you're probably making without even realizing it. League is a complex game after all, and because of this complexity, there are a ton of.
Time out. Time out. Go back.
But unfortunately, doing this is one of the first of many mistakes you're probably making without even realizing it.
It can be a mistake, but I don't know if you're smart enough to see why it can be a mistake, or if there are times where it's fine, it doesn't matter, and then there are times when it's like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I'm saying? It varies. It depends. As I always say, and this is why I'm pissed off at Neil deGrasse Tyson, because when they asked him if you could break it down to one word, what word would you pick? He said, maybe. And I would slap him on the face and say, no, the word is depends. Everything depends. It depends on how much water, and it depends how you look at it. Everything depends, right? In science, it depends. In government, in politics, it depends. The glass is half empty or it's half full. Well, it depends on how you look at it, right? It depends. Everything depends. It's not maybe. It depends.
League is a complex game after all, and
Yeah.
because of this complexity,
No, it can be.
there are a ton of mistakes that go unnoticed since you
They can happen.
don't always get an obvious feedback loop that tells you what you did was wrong.
But you shouldn't. That's how you what's it called? Filter between pros and shitty players, is because the shitty players don't fucking learn, whereas the pros learn. That's the difference. But people are teaching you, oh, this is how you can fake it. This is how you can fake it. And we have a bunch of fake people who learn how to exploit the system but can't do shit. And this is why our government's all fucked up, because we have a president that tricked everybody into making them think that he can do it. And when he got there, he can't do it, and everyone believed that he could, and the world's falling apart. And we wonder why, and it's because he can't fucking do it. Because dumbasses like this Coach Rogue are making videos of how to lie and pretend like you're actually good at the game when you're not.
Which is why in this video I'll highlight all
You know why? It's because he wanted to make money, right?
the most
Like me personally, I do give lessons, but I don't post to them online. Right? I don't make videos of like, oh, this is my session. This is I'm not looking. I'm not greedy. I'm not one of the fake it that fucking ruins the world. I know the damage. I know the danger. I know the risk. Coach Rogue does not. And again, that's exactly why the rich are using him to make more money. Because it makes you dumb, it makes you buy this bullshit, it makes you jump off a cliff, and it makes their job easier to stay afloat, and they don't have to do anything while you do everything. And anyways,
common mistakes that you probably don't even know you're making. So why is Renekton one-shotting this minion wave a mistake? Isn't he just preventing his tower from taking unnecessary minion damage? Well,
yes,
he is, but
Right.
he's also ruining his wave state entirely. When a wave crashes into a tower, it's generally best to try and kill the minions as slowly as possible.
not really.
This way, your next arriving wave out of base will walk out and get stuck on the enemy minions that are now attacking your tower since you haven't killed them. This means the enemy minion wave that is mirrored to yours walking out of base will simply walk to the center of lane, find nothing, and just keep on walking forward until they meet your minions just in front of your tower, giving you a super safe wave state and a guaranteed slow push you can use going forward.
Right. And I expect people to know that. And me as a jungle player, I look for this so I can gank this. Because, like, if I'm playing Skarner, I can push them under our turret and we fuck them up, right?
This works super well and consistently as well because minions have a hidden passive. If a minion starts attacking a tower, they lock onto it and they cannot switch target for any reason,
You're a dumbass.
meaning your minion wave stays completely healthy and so you always get that wonderful slow push for your next 2 to 3.
If an enemy hero shows up and you hit the enemy hero, the minions will stop attacking that turret and beat your ass.
Waves afterwards. By making the super satisfying mistake of one-shotting the wave, you're actually preventing all of this from happening. So whilst you may save a couple of hundred damage to your tower,
No, and also, like if you're top and you want to freeze your lane, which is what he's talking about, which he didn't make any mention of because he's a dumbass and he's good at coaching dumbasses. But if you want to learn how to actually play the game at the top level, to talk to me, right? Same thing with like Bernie Sanders. This is why they black out Bernie Sanders, because they want you stupid and they want you to do stupid shit like this instead of knowing stuff that actually matters. That's the difference, right? So what he's talking about is freezing a lane. Generally, you want to be there before the lane crashes and hold it there. And this is why people will take damage or they'll try to stall a lane out. And then what they'll do is they will like stand like right here, and the way the lane is pushing, and they'll attack him, and then he'll lead them to back. If they're up here, he'll lead them back, and then he'll walk into this bush, and then they'll be right here, and this is where the lane will freeze, and this is what you want. Because now your jungle can be like dun 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 dun, dun and then get a free kill can kill. You know what I'm saying?
you're also, more importantly, putting yourself in a far less advantaged position for the following waves coming afterwards.
This is fine. This is called neutral. It means there's no benefit and there's no loss, and then it is what it is. You can be ganked, but it's your job to be aware of that with wards and vision and map awareness and knowing, oh, I just seen the jungle bot, so he's not going to be top, right?
Now, as mentioned already, this tip is the first of many invisible mistakes I'll be pointing out to you in this video, all in the effort to help you improve and become a better player.
No. So he's showing people who are in some high elo, and I can guarantee he actually isn't any of those things because he didn't mention anything that I just told you. So chances are he's a support being carried by somebody else. I don't know.
Speaking of improving your play, I'm excited to announce something really cool. I've teamed up with Skillcapped in order to create a series of guides focused on Skillcapped the getting skill cap
I
subscribers.
sold
They were
out,
even nice enough
and I want to bring traffic and make money and exploit people, and I ruin the coach name and say I'm a coach, but in reality I'm just a sellout bitch, and I just want to make money, and I use the people that pay for my coaching to make money, and I ruin what it is to be a coach. 'Cause I'm a selfish
with me
douchebag.
will look like. You can find more information by following the link in the video
Shut up,
description
no
below.
one cares.
One of the most common mistakes that new and lower rank players make is that after they get a kill, they crash a wave into a tower and overstay to take turret plates instead of recalling. All the while their opponent comes back to lane with full health and items and just kills them. No,
Okay.
this isn't the hidden mistake I've got to tell you about. I already expect most of my audience knows that recalling is
That flash is dumb.
the number one priority on a wave crash. The hidden mistake most often...
Wait, what?
No, this isn't the hidden mistake I've got to tell you about. I already expect most of my audience knows that recalling is the number one priority on a wave crash.
Wave recalling is the number one wave priority of a wave crash? That makes no sense.
The hidden mistake most often people make is that they don't hit the tower for long enough under certain circumstances, because they've been burned in the past by trying to overstay for plates, and so they thus correctly prioritize recalls. But you shouldn't always prioritize recalls.
Just like you shouldn't you should not always prioritize freezing. But you didn't talk about that.
The best part about killing or forcing your opponent to recall is that while they're in base, you're able to then generate additional gold from minions and turrets that you then get to put towards your items once you recall, and then leverage against your opponent when you get back to lane. For this reason, you actually want to overstay as long as possible in order to get as many minions and turret plates as you can before basing to further increase the potential
What are you talking about?
item lead you will have over the opponent. But of course, you do still need to get your recall in, which is why you need to pay attention to the arrival time of the next wave and how it correlates to your opponent's speed out of base. In this replay, our hero is
That was the most stupid point ever.
basing.
Basically, what he said was people overstay or people understay. What you should do is exactly in the middle. No shit, dumbass. Like, what the fuck? You just said it's either overstay or understay. So, what is the choice? Over or under? How about in the middle where it's like there's no bad thing that follows? Common sense. That's why once upon a time we used to have this thing and we used to call it common sense. But today, if common sense is so common, why do so little people have it today? Because dumbasses like Coach Rogue, who teach you like, oh, this is groundbreaking knowledge, when in reality it's basic shit.
To further increase the potential item lead you will have over the opponent.
That's
of course,
the risk of dying, right? You ain't mentioning experience, by the way. You're falling behind in levels and experience as well. Most people will actually not care about gold and care more about experience, especially if you're counterpicked and you're destined to lose your lane. You give up the money, but you want the XP because you need to stay valid. You need to stay in there. There's a point in the game because most people, all you need is like 2 items and you're done. Basically, like your boots and the 1 item, that's it, or your boots and 2 items. Generally, that's it, and then you're on, and then fucking, that's, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, I don't want to overcomplicate it.
of course, you do still need to get your recall in, which is why you need to pay attention to the arrival time of the next wave and how it correlates to your opponent's speed out of base.
No.
In this replay, our hero Azir player
Everything he just said right there is just stupid bullshit.
is doing real well in lane. So well, in fact, this guy just got a solo kill. Great job, Azir. Now here comes the part where we get that invisible mistake. Azir pushes in his wave, and now he needs to start thinking about that recall. He's been burnt before. He knows that with 1600 gold, and with no health and no mana, if he's still here when Tarm gets back, he's going to be in a terrible situation.
Or the jungle. Or the mid. Like, Come on, dude.
So normally what we'd do is take a plate, pop a recall, would be pretty happy. But we know we can save for more for a certain reason. Pay attention to Tahm Kench's death timer. 4 seconds. That means Tahm Kench is standing right here in his fountain. Now pay attention to where our minion wave is that's coming out of base. It's standing at our tier 2 tower currently. Now, the enemy minion wave is obviously mirrored to this, meaning that it's here. Look at the positioning of the minion wave. Look at the positioning of Tahm Kench. What that tells us is that because the minion wave is so far ahead of him, we're going to have time to clear.
Why is there a Morga? Sorry, there's a bug floating around. But why is there a Morga bottom and there's a Nami in the middle? Like, that. What the hell? Like, this is a terrible example.
Out the whole minion wave before he gets back, and for that reason, we don't need to recall off of the first wave. Off of the
No, it's bullshit because you don't know where the jungle is and you don't know where the middle is. In this game, this is why it depends. In this game, what he's saying, it can make sense because apparently it's a mid Nami. I don't know what the hell that's about, but the point is, it's a joke anyways, so it doesn't really matter. You see what I'm saying? But in reality, like if I was jungle and I knew that you were getting pushed really hard or that you were losing, I want to be nearby so if something happens, I can show up. And the second you overextend even a little bit, I show up and I kill you and you stop doing that thing. You know what I'm saying?
first wave, we can take turret plates. Off of the second wave, since we know we'll have time to kill it, we can take our recall. And thus our Azir can overstay and take more tower damage and more minions. So after this point, Azir is basically gaining additional gold. He's passively generating gold.
And this whole time he could be getting ganked from mid or jungle or bot even.
He's taking a full cannon wave of gold in a different situation, maybe turret plates as well. And now after getting this entire cannon wave and passive income of his gold, Tahm Kench arrives, but he's cleared the waves.
And why is he against Tahm Kench? Like, what the fuck?
So he can pop a recall for free, and good news is that because he overstayed, he gets enough gold to finish his Gnasher Tooth from the passively generated gold and from the cannon wave. Now when he comes back to lane with a full item against nothing, you can start to imagine how this lane's going to start to go.
Oh, did you guys know if you have more of something and you go against somebody who has less of something, you're probably gonna win? Wow, unknown facts. The fuck are you talking about, dude?
So don't just mindlessly recall next time you crash a wave and are low on health. Check if you'll have time to...
At that point, what I would do is I would start the recall in this bush, and if the jungle shows up, I can leave through here. And if the jungle does not show up, I didn't lose time, and I can catch my lane and possibly only lose 1 or 2 lane minions. But yeah.
to kill the next wave a lot. As a bonus tip...
And again, that's assuming it's not this joke match that we're watching. I don't know why he's showing this as an example because, like, if you're looking at it, there's no like, it's a joke.
Tip: sometimes TP can be used as a really good tool to pull this off as well. If you get a kill and have your TP up, it might be worth overstaying like a greedy piggy in order to hit the tower and take extra minions.
Yeah, and then get ganked. But because you're in gold or Waffle Iron 7, it doesn't matter. And you can do what you want because no one's going to punish you, so it's fine.
And when your opponent gets back to lane, you'll be stuck in lane. But you can just base and TP back and all the problems you have will just go away.
No shit. Why do you think most people take TP, you dumb fuck?
And of course, with all the extra gold you just earned, your item lead once you TP back will be insane. Moving on, here's a little something you can think about in draft. I've explained once or twice. Insane.
I really a bot. It's a bot match. I see.
Moving on, here's a little something you can think about.
Yeah, the bots are kind of annoying. They dodge anything and everything. The only time you can land an ability is when they're casting an ability, which is good practice for in real life, because then you start to saying, even though they won't, they could, and you tend to not invest in that because it might not pay off, basically. And what happens is now you have more resources um, to invest, and you're more likely to actually land the blow and to get a return in your investment, and you can really pounce on it. You know what I'm saying? But again, this guy's an idiot, and he's a noob, and he's really got it punching down, so he won't tell you about that shit.
And draft. I've explained once or twice on this channel already that the armor growth you get from level ups is substantially higher than the magic resist growth you get from level ups. Most champions gain about 80 armor from level ups over the course of a game, but will only gain 20 magic resist at the same time, meaning in the late game, if you do physical damage, you always need to build a percentage armor pen item, even against enemies who haven't built an armor item.
Not really. It helps, but you don't have to.
Whilst on the other hand, people who do magic damage can hold off on buying a percentage magic pen item until the enemy actually itemizes some resistance against them.
Again, you don't have to, but you can. It depends.
Now, let's take a second and think about how all of this relates back to the drafting phase. There are a few ways we can think about this. For simplicity's sake, let's exclude support from our examples because support doesn't deal any damage anyway. Now, what you might do in draft is pick 3 champions that deal physical damage with 1 mage that deals magic damage. This way the enemy is more inclined to build armor since 3/4 of your team does physical damage.
Does this guy even... Oh, God.
Well, if they do that, they run into a problem.
It's like he's playing against himself. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the way he explains it, it's like making an enemy. He has no empathy. He has no ability to think like, okay, if my opponent was here right now, what would they do? No, what he does, like, okay, so what do I hate? That's what he's doing. What do I hate? No, if I was his opponent, what would I do?
That your 1 magic damage dealer will do absurd amounts of damage since they don't have any resistances against them, since the enemy doesn't get magic resist from level ups or items in this case. This way of thinking is really popular in pro play since you're obviously putting a lot of trust in that one member of your team to perform, and pro players of course trust.
No, you're thinking too hard because most of them don't really care or think about that, and they just kind of do it. And that's kind of the natural flow of things. On top, you have a melee. How many AP melees do you know of? In jungle, it's the same thing. How many APs do you know, or ranged do you know in jungle? Now in mid, how many do you know? Oh, there's quite a bit. In bot, oh, there's quite a bit. What about support? You see what I'm saying? Most of the roles are melee. You're dumbass.
Their teammate, so you'll very often see a meta in pro play of 1 solo AP on a team. Another way of thinking of things is that since armor growth is so much higher than magic resist growth, shouldn't we draft more magic damage on our team comp in order to make use of the fact that the enemy has lower base magic resist? I personally love this way of thinking, but the mistake
because you're an idiot, but continue.
You may be running into is that you're taking this logic too far.
No, the fact that you're bringing it up is too far.
If you draft 3 champions that deal magic damage, and 1 champion that deals physical damage,
and he's melee, by the way, which again, he doesn't bring up because he's a fucking idiot,
run into a problem.
Especially if he's melee.
The enemy will of course itemize mostly magic
because they don't have to deal with you, and they just gotta make sure he doesn't get close. That's it.
Resist since 3/4 of your team this time does magic damage, leaving the door open for your solo AD champion to hard carry the game. The problem is, your solo AD champion will still be attacking enemies with over 100
look at it. I'm talking about Galio, who has my magic
base armor, even if they don't build armor against him because of the armor growth per level.
Who does that? Oh,
meaning your AD
gold. He's again in a custom fucking stupid.
Champion will still have to dedicate a massive proportion of their gold into buying a percentage armor penetration item.
Not really.
against enemies who aren't itemizing against him. Now you can see the problem.
No, not
A solo
really.
magic damage user can spend every single bit of gold they have on stacking massive amounts of flat magic pen, meaning they will very quickly begin dealing true damage to enemies who have no MR.
Not really. I mean, some items, yes. But I'm trying to remember. I think there's some that are percentages, and 30% of 5 is still, a small, a very like 2, or, whatever, 3, some are at 2 point, whatever. 30% of 10 is 3, right? But if you get a blade that does 10, then if they have 10 and you get 10, then it's 0. You see what I'm saying? But again, he's not making any talk or mention of it because he's a dumbass. But continue.
Then they can round out their build with a very early death cap, because they just simply don't need to worry about building an item like Void Staff at all.
No, they get death cap because death cap is death cap, and if you can get death cap, you'll get death cap. It doesn't matter about their MR because it's death cap, or else they would have MR. I'm sorry, armor pen or magic pen on death cap. That's why they're getting death cap. You fucking idiot.
A solo physical damage dealer, on the other hand, doesn't have the luxury of just buying 5 lethality items plus boots. They'll be forced to build a percentage
Most people do that anyways. Anyway.
armor pen item just to counter enemies' base armor. So
No, not to counter anything. They do it because it's good versus armor.
PSA, don't draft 3 AP, 1 AD team comps. Instead, go closer to 50-50 or leave a mage as your solo AP, preferably something with area of effect
This
damage
guy
like Karthus or
is literally a bronze teacher.
Ziggs as your solo AP, if you have faith in your teammates, of course, which you probably don't.
Right.
The next hidden mistake you might be making is over-pushing in matchups where you already have full control over the wave. Here our Vayne top player is against Shen. Shen has no area of effect damage, and so he can't.
Vayne top. Countered. That's all it is. Renekton was countered. But again, no talk about that because he's bronze. Basically, what you would do is talk to the jungle and be like, hey, I'm countered. So what I'm gonna do is build like what's it called, armor, and every time you can come top, and I'm gonna all in this bitch, and we can probably get a kill because that's basically what he's gonna do. I can't play the lane, so just show up and kill her often. And again, this is why you don't do that because you're susceptible to that, or he roams, right? And this is why because it's a tricky game. It depends. Everything depends. Maybe it depends because he's pushing, because he's not pushing, and you have to counter that. And then is he countering that? Okay, well then you gotta counter it too. Bob, and then so, anyways.
Kill minions very quickly. Not to mention the fact that he's playing melee, has no area of effect damage control over the wave. Here our Vayne top player is against Shen. Shen has no area of effect damage, and so he can't kill minions very quickly. Not to mention the fact that he's playing melee versus range.
And he's just taunted against minions.
When the minion wave arrives in lane, Shen is literally sitting in a bush, making no attempt to contest push.
Hide on bush.
So for these reasons, push is already guaranteed for our Vayne player, and she could just stop at 1 or 2 hits.
What options did he have? Hey Shen, go and take bullets to the face.
Yet despite this, she's still attacking the wave for no reason.
Because Shen isn't there.
When Vayne auto-attacks this minion 4 times, she of course kills the minion more quickly. Now that the minion is dead, it stops dealing damage to his friendly minions. Thus, this friendly minion stays alive for longer, dealing more damage to this enemy minion that it switches target to. Since that enemy minion dies more
2 plus 2 is 4, kids.
quickly now, it stops dealing damage to this friendly minion, which of course stays alive and continue dealing damage,
And the first letter of the alphabet is 7.
and well, you get the point. The snowball begins. The problem
No. No, it doesn't. What are you talking about?
The problem with this is that this substantially speeds up the rate at which the wave pushes into Shen. Just like our Vayne player here, a lot of people make the mistake when trying to push to get level 2 first, but
Stop calling it a mistake. It depends.
what is the urgency in this situation to race for 2 first? You're already ahead by 3 minions in bush. If it comes down
In early game, you don't want to do this. This is true, right? But I'm just saying that he's talking about it like it's a general scenario, not that it's early game, a specific scenario. So yes, in early game, you don't want to do this because it's early game, right? But late game, you can push and roam mid, which this Vayne could do because she's pushing.
to a race, you'll win comfortably. All of these auto attacks she's doing just speed up the rate at which the wave pushes into the enemy, preventing her creeps from dying, all at a moment where she
Right, and then she can roam.
can easily zone her opponent from last hits. Because of overpushing, Shen was
Oh, never mind.
only zoned from 1 minion and got a total of 10 out of 12 possible last hits out of the first 2 waves.
Again, that doesn't. Who cares?
Now let's take a look at my recreation of the same situation.
Oh, you playing a bot? Oh, yeah. I just didn't realize. He has a thing over here. That means it's a fucking. Practice.
Now, since I know push is guaranteed in this matchup, I don't attack the minions at all except in order to take the last hit.
Look at me doing it. I'm a champion. Yeah.
I can already zone Shen from
I used my jumper back, even though it's not needed. Yeah.
up. I don't attack
I'm a
the
coward.
minions at all except in order
I'm so good, I'm scared.
to take the last hits. I can already zone Shen
Like that jump back is so stupid.
from hitting the wave since I'm range versus melee, and this is enough to give me priority. I also don't need to race for level 2
Why are you not shooting the Shen?
in order to get it first, and once I get level
There you
2, Shen
go.
just gets completely zoned, and it now becomes impossible for him to get any of the last hits. Because I didn't speed
No. You were diving already, so it didn't matter. You got the dive first instead of the true damage first. That's a decision you made, and you could be pushing him back at level 1, but because you're a dumbass, you did anyways.
up the push by auto-attacking the wave early on, I get to perform a 3-wave crash, which gives more
Oh look, your lane still is pushing. You know why? It's because you sucked at
time for the
pushing
minion
it.
waves
Or I'm sorry, not pushing it, but last hitting it.
to kill my minions, zoning Shen from far more minions when compared to our previous example where the Vayne was over-pushing and just feeding minions into tower for him to catch
That was too early.
in safety. An extremely vivid memory I have from my pro play days from years ago is something crazy I learned
Your pro play games. You mean your ranked and not bot games or not custom? Because
from a screen.
there it is. It's a custom. Yet this is a recreation, obviously. Yeah.
Great.
Recreation meaning he's a liar based off of his wording and his expertise and knowledge. He don't know shit. So pro. Yep.
It was level 1 and we were pulling ahead in push in the race for level 2. Since I knew we'd get level 2 first, I walked up to look for trades in order to create volatility.
Whoa. You played the game.
For some reason though, my opponent just every game made it extremely easy for me to hit them for free. I remember laughing
Whoa.
at how
It's like you have a range advantage.
bad they were during the game because they were just taking free damage. It wasn't until after the match when I went back and watched the replay that I realized the enemy was taking damage on purpose. By attacking an enemy champion, it causes nearby minions to target you. If the enemy minions are attacking you, they aren't attacking your minions, which means your minions stay alive and continue dealing damage, thus speeding up the push. My opponent was intentionally letting me hit him, since when I hit him, it would speed up the rate at which the wave would push into him, which not only prevented the minions from dying until a period where he wouldn't get zoned from the last hits, but it also unintentionally would speed up the push so he wouldn't get zoned.
One or both of these minions, these melees would have died if I didn't hit him.
into him, which not only prevented the minions from dying until a period where he wouldn't get zoned from the last hits, but it also unintentionally would speed up the push so that I'd accidentally do a 2-wave crash in situations where I intended to do a 3-wave crash.
Why are you still there?
Shout out to Jinjo for humbling my ego with that trick. I thought he was an inter, turns out I was the inter.
Yeah, you are, and you suck at everything. You shouldn't be a coach. In fact, you're not.
Now let's
You're just trying to get money.
talk about League's most misunderstood objective, Rift Herald. Most of the time people are happy with the result that if they place a Rift Herald and get a tower with it,
You placed it and left?
that's good. And sometimes you can be happy with this result, especially if it's expiring soon or if you're in a losing game and you won't get another chance to place it. But usually this will not be an optimal use. So let's talk how to properly spot where the best moment to use a Rift Herald is. You're looking for two things when thinking to place
That Jarvan's stupid.
a Herald down. The first are points of pressure. Anytime a minion wave crashes into a turret, it creates a new place on the map where the enemy has to defend. If you have a minion wave crashing into tower in one lane, you have 1 point of pressure. And if you have waves crashing into towers in 2 lanes, you now of course have 2.
You probably have a Yorick on the team. Ha 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 ha.
When attacking in just one place, any defending enemies under a tower can hold off a disproportionate amount of attackers. As an analogy, think about the 300 Spartans and that choke point they used in order
No.
to fight off 1,000,000 elephants or whatever the hell they were doing in that movie. This is why you want to look to place Herald when you have multiple points of pressure. It starts to simply overload the enemy.
This has nothing to do with the Herald. This is just a tactic. It's called 1v131 or 221 or 113 or 212 or 1. Most people are doing 112, and then the jungle is just kind of doing its thing. But the most other people will do 112, which by the way means the number is just top, mid, then bot, and it's just the number corresponds with the lane. So 112 is 1 top, 1 mid, 2 bot, right? 131 well, it means 1 top, 3 mid, 1 bot. That's all that means.
By stretching them thin across the entire map.
Amazing, by the way.
You see, every wave that hits a tower also forces an enemy to show on vision and defend in that place.
Not really. They can bail on it and push a different objective. Again, you're a shitty coach.
This is the second thing you're looking for with a good Herald placement. It's a game of numbers where you're comparing how many people are attacking against how many people are defending, and in how many places do those defenders have to defend as a result of your points of pressure.
No.
Here's an example of a badly used Rift Herald. Blue team have 3 members on the map that they can attack with, while red team has potentially up to 4 members alive they can defend with. And finally, we only have our mid-wave crashing into the enemy tower, giving us just 1 point of pressure. So, can 3 people attack against 4 defenders in just one place? No, they can't. The math just doesn't add up to a good result, so it's bad. Yes?
Oh, I'm so glad you pointed it out for me. Thank you. I would not have been able to. Dude, what the fuck?
Blue team did get the mid tower with the Rift Herald chance since it was
Oh, and by the way, this has 61,000 subscribers and 38,000 views.
low on health. But that's it. Placing Rift Herald forced 2 enemies to come mid and defend against them. Then when blue team swings into the enemy bot side, only to realize they
How is this a learning experiment or a learning environment? It's just all you're doing is showing a bad example. Or, again, this is why you don't allow shitty coaches like yourself to exist. The same reason why you don't show off shitty plays, because they shouldn't exist. You don't want this to happen. If people do this, and people see this, it can repeat. History can repeat. You don't want this crap to happen. Just like we don't want people to learn from you because you're a dumbass. You clearly don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But continue.
don't have any mini waves here, so they can't capitalize on the fact that Rift Herald drew 2 people to defend mid. And that's the problem with placing Rift Herald with only 1 point of pressure. You place the Herald, maybe
Yeah, bad teams and bad stuff happens. You're making a big deal about it like it's a learning experiment, but most people know this is stupid and you shouldn't do it, so why are you talking about it?
you even get something in that lane, but there's no step 2 to the sequence, since there's just nowhere else on the map that you can go. So to see what a good use of Herald looks
Most people know, even if top is pushing and bot is pushing, if you push mid as 5 with the Rift Herald, then you can potentially win the game if the top and bot don't show up to help, because 5 versus 3 and you have a Rift Herald tanking, it's good times.
like. We just have to play that numbers game we talked about. Now, the replay starts off with us getting this pick on Mbessa. Really nice. Now let's pause for a second and look at the two things. So first is points of pressure. Well, the top laner is dead. Pause for a second and look.
That name. This is like a bot game or some shit, like some fucking bronze game or whatever. I don't know. So pro, remember, he's a pro.
Look at the two things. So first is points of pressure. Well, the top laner is dead, so this wave very soon is going to be crashing into top, giving us a point of pressure.
Thanks.
Mid wave, looks like our bot lane's probably going to get prio. We'll see how it works out, but that is potentially a point of pressure. And bot lane has already bot lane very soon is going to be crashing into top, giving us a point of pressure. Mid wave, looks like our bot lane's probably going to get prio. We'll see how it works out, but that is potential.
Not really. Look at the map. It looks like bot's gonna die because it's 2v1. Or I should say 1v2. Potentially, I don't know. There's 2 top. So, yeah, there's 1 on bot. So chances are your bot is gonna die and you're gonna be losing prio. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Potentially a point of pressure. And bot lane has already drawn 2 enemies to bot lane. So at this moment, we have...
What the hell?
Have 3 points of pressure
No, you
spread
don't.
across the entire map, which is the most you can have. Now,
Nah, you stupid.
let's play that game of numbers.
No.
We have 5 people on the map to attack with. With
Thank you.
their dead top laner, the enemy
no.
has 4.
Did you know? Hey, did you know that you got 5 people on the map at once? Yeah, I learned from this guy, this brilliant dude named Coach Rogue, that said he was a pro, but clearly he doesn't know shit.
On the map to defend with. So we're attacking with 5 people against 4 people in 3 different places, which...
That's exactly what I told you. You could have 5 people pushing mid, and they have 1-3-1, and you have 0-5-0. You can win the game because they think they can push faster than you can, and they can't.
spreads them thin. Bot lane already has drawn 2 enemies to it, so there's 1 enemy who can't come top because he's dead, there's 2 that can't come because they're bot lane. This makes for a great time to place the Rift Herald. 5 against 4 in 3 places, and this is where they get overwhelmed, just like I'm talking about. We get the top tower, we get the second one, but it doesn't have to stop there, because any people who would come top to defend anyway would be leaving mid open. Any people who come mid to defend would be leaving top open. And
so when you're winning more allows you to win more. That's what he told you guys.
Anyone who goes bot lane to kill our top laner, well, they just lose their whole base in the process, because they're stretched thin across the map, and the math just doesn't add up. One of the most underrated uses for Rift...
You're talking about a one-sided game, kid. Like, balance the match. Put some actual strategy in what you're talking about. All you're saying is things that we all fucking know. You fucking
Herald is
fake.
simply using it to create a new point of pressure on the map where you don't have one. If your team is pushing in mid and top, and your bot wave is super far away, don't fear. You can just place Rift Herald bot, and suddenly bot lane becomes a point of pressure because of the Rift Herald. If enemies come bot to defend the Herald, which they most likely will do, you can then swing into mid while they're stuck bot lane and just dive the under-defended teammates they left mid. And then maybe you can even go as far as to then swing into top lane afterwards, since you have so many options for places you can attack while the enemy is drawn to the other side of the map. Now, I'm not trying to tell you that every good Herald use has to be this perfect, because they don't all have to be, but I so often see a team do a simultaneous 3-wave crash in every single lane, and the guy with the Rift Herald walks over and farms a Gromp camp instead of placing it, only for the same guy minutes later to walk up and just randomly place Herald in front of a tower when no other lanes are acting as a point of pressure.
Who cares? You're talking about scenarios and you're not giving us any context. We don't know. Shit. Why is Rek'Sai doing the jungle and Rek'Sai didn't let
Walk up
go?
and just
What the hell?
randomly place Herald in front of a tower when no other lanes are acting as a point of pressure. So don't be the guy who settles for half healthing a tower with a Herald charge. Wait until you have at least 2 or 3 points of pressure first, or at least get a pick on an enemy so the numbers advantage is
Hey guys, use common sense and do stuff to win. Using common sense. Yeah, no. Oh god.
starting to
You're
tip in your
garbage,
favor.
dude.
Now, as a final reminder, that special link to my skill cap course is in the video.
Yeah, fuck your skill cap. Anybody that watches you to learn is a fucking idiot. And anybody that pays anything to learn from this fucking idiot is a fucking idiot. Again, I don't promote it because, what's it called? It's bad to teach people en masse, because man is smart, but men are dumb. So when you teach 5,000 people at once, it's shitty, but one on one, it's good. And this guy's talking about the gutter trash garbage that will just fucking ruin your game. So if you want to ruin your game, if you want to play like a shitty player, yeah, sure, whatever. But I don't know. Anyways, I'm out. Be well, be happy, be safe, peace.